Okay, I'm rigging up a new hummingbird 383 sounder, and so you can see what I've used first to start off with is a Scotty ram mount into the mast hole. The two pieces screw together and slide over the top of each other and lock into the mast slot. I've used the ram mount attached to the bottom of the sounder unit to fix the head unit, the base unit on. Okay, so I've drilled a 1" or 25mm hole through the hull, and I'm using a cover clip. You can get those from BS Boatings, a wire cover. They're little lash slips in there first. You slide the two wires through to connect up into the sounder unit, and then the cover piece goes over the top of those again once you've got your wires at the desired length. Okay, so what we've got to do, the wires feed up into the base of the hummingbird unit, and you can't stuff them up. They've got exactly the same shape holes as what goes in there. You've got the little silver wire keeper that slips over the bottom, holding the plugs up into place. That fits back into the base unit, and we then screw it down on top of that. We'll fit that back onto the ram mount. Okay, now I'm going to adjust the wires to the appropriate length, and we'll then need to fit the cover plate over the top. So I've got my cover plate here and I'm fitting it over the wires, and what I'm going to do, I'm just using the point of the spade bit and I'm going to mark the screw holes with the tip of the spade bit. The spade bit twists into the plastic nice and easy, so I can get a sort of starting hole to put my screws into. Anything sharp will do, a nail, even the screw itself, just to get that starting mark so you know it's in the right spot before you put your screws in. Right, stainless steel screws, of course. Okay, just pull the wires back into the right length. Alright, now what I'm doing here is we're fitting the foam block for mounting the transducer. Now, I don't like actually gluing the transducer down. It's very easy to stuff up if you get air bubbles and you won't get a good signal. So what I like to do is I fit a piece of foam to the bottom. I'm fitting the transducer onto the foam there now so I can get the positioning right. And I'm going to cut a slot out of the foam for the transducer to sit into. Right, I'll then glue the foam down, and I just put a handful of water inside that slot before I drop the transducer in each time I go out, and that gets me a nice signal through the hull. The water takes up all the air spaces. Okay, so I've just got my good old filleting knife, and I'm cutting around the foam. Be careful when you're doing this, don't slip and stab yourself or whatever. I'm a tradie, so I tend to be a bit cavalier with sharp things. So I'm just finishing that shape off around, and the foam should simply just pop out. It doesn't really matter what sort of foam you use. It's a bit of closed cell foam I had laying around the place, It's not that important. Some people, if you go to Clark Rubber, you can get the little baby floats. They work quite well as well. Okay, you can see the transducer fits into the hole there nice and neat. And you see I've got the front of that cut around the mast. That's just a bit. I'm just scuffing up the surface here so I can get a good bond. Right, so it's just scuffing up, making a bit of a scratch in the deck of the hull of the kayak, so when I've actually bond the foam down with marine goop, it's going to stick nice and well to the hull. Make sure you clean this dust off thoroughly. You don't want to have any of that stuck in there, or that it'll help the glue to lift off. Alright, so just giving that a good clean now. Right, now I've got the good old trusty marine goop here. It's rather thick, this stuff, but yeah, I'm basically going to spread that all over the bottom of the piece of foam and then stick it down. Okay, so there's the goop all over the bottom of the foam. Now when I push that down, I'm just going to smear it out a bit so the goop sticks out all over everything. Gets a nice good bond between there and the hull. The more goop you got on there, the better, really. Okay, just make sure you don't get it all over the place. I'm sliding that into position. There we go, I'm just pressing it down, getting that goop all over the place. Now remember, I haven't actually glued the transducer down, I'm just gluing the foam down here, and I like the transducer to be removable. Okay, now I'm just getting this bit of foam in. I need it to stack down to the shape of the hull, so the foam's just there to wedge it down, and I let it dry overnight at least before I pull the foam out. Probably needs, if you can give it a good few days to dry before you use it, better off. Right, so I've got the wires from a transducer now. I've wired them up just to the normal cable ties you get from any auto store, and I'm just giving all the joints there, after I've crimped them together, a coat of liquid electrical tape. I got all this stuff from BS Boating, I think. Now this stuff goes everywhere. It's absolute bugger to work with. It's as runny as all hell. Dries reasonably quick, but it's as runny as all hell when you're putting it on. So just be careful, don't get it on your kayak. So I've got that bit of plastic there to put it on. I've got a 12 volt little battery. I think it was $30 with the bag. Okay. That'll give me a good few days of running on the sounder. And it fits up nicely, just wedges under the corner of the hull there. Right, so that's the sounder completely installed. And we're moving on to the Scotty rod holder now. So Scotty rod holder, I'm just checking the size of the drill bit to the shank of the screw I'm going to screw it down with, and I've got a black backing block I'm going to put underneath. I should really use nuts, but I'm just being a bit lazy and using stainless steel screws because that's what I had around. Okay, so I've positioned the rod holder where I wanted it. I'm drilling the first hole through, and I'm now going to screw the backing block onto the back of the rod holder. And I'm actually screwing it to the starboard there as well, so the thread's biting into both that and the timber block underneath. I think the block of wood underneath was just a bit of Tassie oak I had laying around. Right, now I've got it held in position with the first screw. I'm going to go through and pre-drill my other 3 holes. Okay, so the holes are pre-drilled, and I'm just heading on to screwing it down now. Okay, so there's the last screw going in, and the Scotty rod holder is mounted on the kayak, all ready to go. 3H3 colour sounder and GPS. We've got the new trolley wheels. I went for the ones now that fit underneath the hull, and just strap on over the top. The sounder set up complete, wires out of the way, misses the pedals, all beautiful, and the Scotty rod holder in position. So I hope this helps some of you guys that want to set up your kayaks.